Joining me is someone who has written on this very issue, William Reville, a columnist with the Irish Times, but even more impressively, Emeritus Professor of Biochemistry at the University College Cork. And Cork is where he joins me. Professor Reville, thank you so much for your time. We're only 40 to 50 years from the population falling, if these projections are right. Does that mean things will get better and we break out the champagne?
Good morning, Andrew, or good evening in Australia, of course. We are only beginning to start pondering the implications of the great decline in birth rates worldwide and the effective collapse of birth rates in the developed world. We hear a lot about the implications of climate change, and of course climate change is a serious problem, but we had better start pondering the decline in birth rates, because as you cited in your statistics in introducing this piece, the extent of the decline in population is pretty much jaw-dropping, and it's going to start in 2064, and the decline will continue up beyond 2100. And we already know that when trends like this set in, it's very, very difficult to reverse them. The evidence, paradoxically, it might seem at first, is that having large populations is actually, there's good evidence that it's actually quite good, not only for human flourishing generally, but also is not that bad for the environment. And the history of developments over the 20th century, when populations burgeoned throughout the world and industrialization expanded massively, is that also human flourishing thrived. Access to clean air, access to clean water, access to food, extent of malnutrition, human resilience in the face of challenges from natural disasters. All of these things improved dramatically, even though populations were expanding hugely. So it seems that and there's a very strong evidence that large numbers of in population are a good thing. They do press on the environment, but humans are very clever animals and are able to come up with technological solutions to ameliorate or to sort out these matters. And in 2018, I think it was, an economist called Paul Romer won the Nobel Prize for a theory called endogenous growth theory. And basically that simply says that the innovative capacities and ingenuity of human beings in large numbers have a much greater effect than the negative effect of the appetites of humans pressing on the environment. So,
well, we've seen that a bit, haven't we? We've seen it a bit, that the problem for the environment is not so much people, it's poverty. The poorer people are, the worse the environmental effects have been. As we've got richer, we've been much more careful of the environment. And in fact, NASA satellite imagery shows that over the last 20 years, the planet has generally got greener. But that said, I don't know about you. I mean, Cork is a beautiful place, green fields around and all that kind of stuff. And I'm living out bush, away from the city. And if anyone comes close to me, more people, I'm going to get really, really upset and lie in front of bulldozers. So I've got an aesthetic dislike of more people. But what is, do you think, for human flourishing, our ideal population?
That is a matter that has to be worked out. Experts have got to start thinking very critically about this matter. Now, some people would tell you, environmentalists would tell you that the ideal population for the world, from the environment point of view, would be about 2 billion people. But we probably need a lot more than that. The population of the world is now 7.8 billion, I think. It's certainly going to start declining towards that and below that beyond 2100. I would guess, but it's only a surmise at this stage because these things haven't been worked out. I would think that we don't want the world population to decline much below the 7.8 billion or the 7 billion that we have now. So because if we do that, the upwelling or the production of new innovative ideas will decline. And also, of course, another bad effect of the negative effect of the declining birth rates is that the structure of our population will flip-flop from having lots of young people and relatively few elderly people, will flip-flop to having many elderly people and relatively few young people. And that's going to cause a problem for who will do the work and who will pay the taxes to maintain welfare states. Now, that, of course, can be ameliorated by artificial intelligence and all of that. But this is an extremely complex area, and it's got to be figured out by experts. But it does seem...
Well, that's all very well, but I tell you, yeah. I do not want in my old age to be catered for by a robot able to seek some human contact. But you're quite right, and we haven't even discussed the fact that the depopulation will occur in different regions much sooner and much more dramatically than others, which is going to invite the question, what will happen to those rapidly vacating countries, who will pour in and all this kind of stuff. Fascinating stuff. Professor William Reville, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.